What's up, piano friends? Jonny May here, and welcome to today's lesson where I'm going to teach you one of the coolest ways to transform your chords. This is what I call the shape shifting technique. And if you're playing chord progressions like this, you can make your chords sound so much more interesting with shape shifting. It's a super easy technique and it works on almost any chord progression. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so let's say you're playing a chord progression in the key of F major. So you might have an F major chord and then like a C major chord, maybe D minor, or like a B flat major, right? This is a very common chord progression. And let's say you're accompanying on this. So you might be playing it like this. Okay? And it doesn't sound bad, but you can make these chords sound so much more interesting with shape shifting. So I'm going to walk you through the 4 steps to transform these chords into shape shifter chords. But before we do this, if you're enjoying the lesson, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. All right, step number 1 is to go through your chords in the key of F major and play them as second inversion chords. So here's what I mean. If you're playing a tune in the key of F major, you're very likely to see what are called diatonic chords. And these are all the chords that come from the key of F major. So we have F major, we have G minor, that's like a 2 chord, 3 chord is A minor, the 4 chord is like a B flat major, the 5 chord is a C major, 6 chord is like a D minor, and then the 7 chord is like an E diminished. Okay, these are all of the triads that come from the F major scale. So what you want to do is you want to take each one of these chords and you actually want to play them in second inversion. So if we take this F major, this is root position, we're going to put the C on the bottom and this creates a second inversion F major chord. So if we play this on the first chord, F major, we have this. Okay, so this is the starting point for the shapeshifter chords. We're going to do a few more things to these chords, but they start with second inversion chords. So we have F major. What about G minor? There it is, right? Pretty simple. The 3rd chord is A minor. 4th chord is B flat major. Then we have our C major. Next is our D minor. Next chord is our E diminished. And then our F major chord. Okay, so before we move on to the next step, make sure you can play all of your chords from the key of F as a second inversion chord up the piano. All right, step number 2 is the most important step because this is where we're going to introduce the chord shape. And this is what really gives it that sweet sound that I was playing at the beginning of this video. You need to know this chord shape to get this sound. So what exactly are we doing to these second inversion chords to get this chord shape? Well, we're actually dropping voice number 2 down a 3rd. And here's what I mean. If you take a chord like a B flat major chord like this, okay? This is called voice 1, voice 2, voice 3, and voice 4. It's kind of like a choir, right? And so what you're going to do with voice 2 is you're going to drop down a 3rd using the notes of the F major scale. So think about this. If we came down 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, using the notes of the F major scale, we end up with this chord. Right? It has a totally different sound. Let's play the B flat again. And then now the new chord. It has kind of a more interesting sound, a little more color to the chord. Let's try it on a different chord, maybe on a D minor, right? Here's my D minor in second inversion. At least the right hand is in second inversion. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop voice number 2 down 3 notes. 1, 2, 3, using the notes of the F major scale. And now play this chord. Gorgeous, right? This is an ordinary D minor, and now here is the shape-shifted chord, right? A lot more color, a lot more beautiful, kind of has a longing sound. So try this on your various chords. Go to like a C major, and now shape-shift it, 1, 2, 3. You get this chord with a little more longing. And this is the beauty of the shape-shifter technique, is you're not just playing these ordinary chords, A minor, right? You're doing shape-shifted chords. So what I want to do with you is go through the chords in the key of F major. These are the chords that you're going to see in pretty much 99% of popular tunes and show you how to shape-shift them. But there's actually two chords in the key of F that you're going to want to modify a little bit. So after I show you how to shape-shift the main chords in F, in the next part I'll show you how to modify these two chords to sound a little bit better. All right, first chord, F major. There's our second inversion chord. Let's shape-shift it. A little more colorful. This is called an F6 chord, okay? All right, what about our next chord? It's a G minor. Let's shape-shift it. 1, 2, 3. And now we have a little more interesting chord. This is called an E half diminished 7 chord, but we're actually going to modify this chord later, so make sure to stay tuned for the next section. Okay, the next chord, A minor. Shape-shift it. 1, 2, 3. Here it is. So much more beautiful. I love this chord so much more than the A minor chord. This is actually called an F major 7 over A. It's a really beautiful chord that you can use on your 3 chord. Okay, the 4 chord, B flat major. Let's shape-shift it. 1, 2, 3. A little more color, a little more longing. The C chord, shape-shift it. Really beautiful. The 6 chord, the D minor. Let's drop it down. So much more beautiful. And the next chord, this is our E diminished chord, which looks like this. And let's shape-shift it. 1, 2, 3. Turns it into a C7 over E. And then finally back to our F major, shape-shifted. 1, 2, 3. And there's our F6. So those are your shape-shifted chords. Let's play through them again. And then I want to point out a really easy way to remember these chords. So we have our F chord, our G chord, our A chord, our B flat chord, our C chord, our D chord, our E chord, and then our F chord. Okay? Now this exercise is great, but there's actually a little formula that you can use to quickly figure out your shape-shifted chords no matter what chord you're looking at. So as an example here, let's say you have a D minor chord and you want to shape-shift it. Well, here's the formula. You start on D and you go up 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to go up 1 note, and we're using the notes of the F major scale because we're playing this in the key of F. And then we're going to go up 5 more notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my shape-shifted chord. And you could do this on any note. Like if I wanted to figure this out on a B flat major chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then go up 1 note, and then 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's the shape-shifted chord. Now, I mentioned earlier that I don't particularly love the sound of the shape-shifted chord on the 2nd note and the 7th note of your F major scale. In other words, when we get to that G chord, I don't particularly think this chord works very well with the other shape-shifted chords. And also the E chord, I don't particularly like this chord either. So we're going to modify these 2 chords just a little bit so they sound a little bit better with the other chords. So for the 2 chord, the G chord, I actually like to play this as a G minor 7 like this. Okay, so it's a little different from the shape-shifted chord. We're going to move that up to the F. Okay, on the 7th chord, the E chord, we're going to turn this into a beautiful chord called a C add 2 over E. Okay, so we're going to take these 2 bottom notes and move them up here, and we have a much more beautiful E chord. All right, let's go ahead and play all of your shapeshifter chords using the new 2 chord and the 7th chord, and then I'm going to show you how you can apply your shapeshifter chords to almost any chord progression. So here are the 7 chords once more. F6, G minor 7, F major 7 over A, B flat 6, C6, B flat major 7 over D, C add 2 over E, and then F6. Now you might be wondering, Johnny, why do you call this a shape shifter? And the reason for this is because once you establish your first shape, like this beautiful A chord, which is like an F major 7 over A, all you have to do is shift this chord shape around to your various notes. So if I want to do it on the C, I shift it up to the C, right? And if I want to do it on the F, I do it up here. Or on the D, right? You see what I'm doing? I'm using the same shape regardless of the bass note. All right, before I teach you step number 4 and we apply this idea to some chord progressions, if you want to do a deep dive on chord shapes and some of my favorite shapes to use on chords, check out our One Chord Wonder course over at pianowithjonny.com. You'll learn how to apply this chord shape to tons of different chord progressions, how to accompany with it, how to create some beautiful rhythms. I'll put a link to that course below. All right, we're in step number 4, and this is the best part of the lesson because we're going to apply this shapeshifter technique to some common chord progressions. So the first chord progression we're going to look at is very simple. We're in the key of F major, and the chord progression goes like this: B flat major, C major, A minor, B flat major. Okay, so this is like a 4, 5, 3, 4 chord progression. So how would you play this chord progression using shape-shifted chords? Well, B flat major in second inversion is this. We're going to drop this note down 3, 1, 2, 3, and here's our first chord shape. Okay? Then we're going to move this up to the C. Everything comes up, and then down to the A, and then the B flat major. Okay? And you can groove on this. But what if we had a chord progression with a lot more chords? Like, what if the chord progression went B flat major, D minor, C major, maybe up to an E diminished? And then what if it went to D minor, and then up to an F major, and then back to an E diminished, and maybe back down to an A minor? Well, guess what? This is the chord progression that I played at the very beginning of this video, and you can make this sound so cool with shape-shifted chords. So here we go. Let's shape-shift these chords, starting with the B flat major chord. There is the second inversion B flat major. Let's shape-shift it. 1, 2, 3, and let's play all the chords. So we have that B flat chord, then the D minor. We're gonna play it like this. How about the C chord? There it is. How about the E diminished? Remember, for this one, we're going to change it to a C add 2 over E. Okay? Back to a D minor, we're going to actually play it like this. And then our F chord, there it is. And then our E diminished, we're going to play as a C add 2 over E. And then back down to our A chord, which we play like this. All right, we're going to play this chord progression with the included backing track. And by the way, the backing track is downloadable. You can also download and print the lesson sheet music on the top left of your screen. And you can change the key of this entire lesson with the click of one button with our smart sheet music. So I'll put a link to that below. And when we play this with the backing track, we're going to have a little bit of fun with the rhythms. So here it is with the backing track. Here we go. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the lesson, please let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to check out pianowithjonny.com. We have over 1,000 step-by-step lessons for all playing levels where you'll learn your favorite songs, styles, and how to improvise at the piano. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.